Adventure is having that sense of joy and play. The word is a very active, celebratory word. I grew up playing sports. I cheered and competitive cheered. There was a lot of gymnastics. There was softball. But even though my dad is an outdoorsman, I didn't grow up being outdoors. And then moving into my adulthood, once I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, it really limited my mobility and what I felt like in terms of my body could do. My name is Kisha Jarrett. I use she, her. I am on Lenape land, otherwise known as Manahata. I am a director, writer, storyteller, and adventurer. I've always wanted to go to Iceland. And when I was there, I happened to meet a person who was talking about, oh yeah, there's this like glacier hike you can go on. I remember getting to the top and I was like, I'm a champion. Like I was like so excited, basically because like it was just this, I like remembered who I was. Like there was for so long, like especially with like pain management and all of that kind of stuff. Like I had just forgotten, like, and it felt like me again. It's probably 10 years ago that I was diagnosed with lupus. There is a bodily pain that happens with it, and also there's a very real mental hurdle.
That was good, we did it.
I don't have a rigid self-care regimen, but Epsom salt baths like do wonders for me, draining my lymphatic fluids. I do a lot of stretching. I love to read. I love baking. At one point, I had a independent bakery. For people that have like an invisible disease, autoimmune disease, like we don't look like we're sick. We don't look like we're in pain.
We are on the Appalachian Trail. I'm really excited because I've never hiked this trail before.
For me, my enjoyment, my pleasure, my like deep joy about being in the outdoors and hiking comes from what happens to me on the trail, where I all of a sudden, especially on those times where it's a really hard trail and I want to quit, and I turn around and I literally look down the trail, like back where I came from, and I was like, I just did all of that. Like I can keep going.
I did it! I didn't fall! That's amazing! I needed to stop worrying about the competitive part of me that is, oh, I have to do it the way that somebody else does it, because my body does not allow for that. So I have to figure out a way in which it works for me, and the way in which it works for me is just slower, which is actually kind of rad because I get to see more things. Hi, baby snake. Mushrooms.
When I was really looking for like how to get more into doing this like on my own, I just didn't see a lot of people that looked like me. For me, it's not just about the fact that I'm a Black female, but also that like I have an autoimmune disease and I'm a fat person, and to like put all three of those things together that's a huge part of it, right? It's just about the representation of the people. Specifically, right, for Black people, Black people didn't have the right to be in our national parks until 1968. And that was just when it was signed. And then who knows how long after, especially in different states, that actually became that like Black people could go and enjoy national parks, let alone the sort of 400 years of intensely violent, forced manual labor, usually outdoors. So for a group of people in which you have inherited learned trauma, the trauma needs to be understood and, worked through in order for us to go back and learn how we communed, how we understood nature before that happened. When I think about healing, it is about the understanding that I can be one with the universe and the universe is one with me by slowing down and thinking and moving with intention.
When you get so busy, you don't stop, you don't think, you're not really like activated and grounded in what's currently here right in front of you. And I think like that, out of anything, even though I can start a fire in 5 minutes, that out of anything is like one of the coolest lessons I've ever learned.
Part of me is sad that I didn't understand about the outdoors. I didn't connect with it and commune with it 20 years ago, like before I had an autoimmune disease, before my body like wouldn't let me do certain things. And then the other part of me is that if that had have happened, I wouldn't have appreciated it in the same way that I do now. I wouldn't have like had the same relationship with nature that I do now. I wouldn't have been engaged in it in the way that I am now. It's just, I met it at the right time.